All right, welcome back, sister. Today we have an Instagram sensation on the show who loves the Lord Jesus Christ. And on this episode, we're focusing on growing your Instagram in a stress-free way with the one and
Mhm.
only Shannon McKinstry. Shannon, I'm sure you know, is a social media mentor and strategist who's on mission to eliminate the never-ending content creation, guesswork, and overwhelm so that business owners like you can actually enjoy promoting your business and engaging with your social media audience without burning out or freaking out. All right. And she's also the host of the Good Content podcast. And as you no doubt know, since you already know, Shannon, her specialty is more views, more sales, more
Mhm.
fun. Let's
Yes.
say hey to Shannon. Welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me. I'm excited.
Can we just be real for a second? Right before we hit the go button, a couple of things have happened. I
Yeah.
just like to be real with the show, right? On my end, I'm at my son's house. The internet has been kind of wonky, but now it looks really good. There was an issue with kind of the, what time zone are we in? And
Yeah.
do you care to say real quick, Shannon, kind of what you
Yeah. So a couple of things. We have our AC out on the top level. The contractors are on the main level. So I'm in the playroom. And now my friend who's watching my daughter, so I could do this podcast, just called me to say my daughter just threw up. So
This is the life of mamas that have
here it
businesses.
is. But we're
And
gonna get this podcast done. It's gonna be great.
that's right. The enemy's coming hard, but greater is he.
Yes, he truly is.
Hallelujah. All right. Well, listen, I went back to look at your Instagram and I love your founder story. And I think that's a beautiful place to start so that those that may not know you know kind of what you're all about.
Yeah. Yeah, so I was one of those people in the corporate world who just felt very lost all those years, like didn't really know, I've always loved recording and capturing, and I was the girl in high school that would literally back in the VHS days, I had the big camcorder and I would edit videos for my friends, like that was my hobby after school. So I went on to CNN and doing news and production and was in the control room and loved it, but then realized I didn't love it. So your dream job just all of a sudden goes, wait, the reason you think like this is what you're made to do, it's like, it's not working anymore. I don't like it. So I was very lost for a long, long time. And then social media kind of came about. Right. And then
Mhm.
I was like, wait, this brings all the things I love together, writing, video, brainstorming, creative. So when social media started going from like fun and games to business, I was like, oh my gosh, I could make money doing this. And then I started my business because, I figured I'd just do social media marketing in a corporate setting, but I always was very shy in corporate setting. I was never like the smart kid. So I always felt like I was the creative. Um, and so I had my daughter, had a very traumatizing birth with her, hemorrhage, blood transfusions in the ICU for several days. So and again, I think I would have never had the courage to start a business if that hadn't happened.
Mm.
So that shaped everything. I quit my job. I was like, I can't send my daughter to someone else. I just can't do it. And my husband and I kind of made a deal. He's like, if you can find a couple of clients, at least pay for groceries and some of the rent, like do it. And I did. And that was in 2014 where it wasn't really taken seriously, but, so I figured maybe I'll try it a couple of years, then get Cam off to preschool and then go back to corporate. But my business just blew up. So
Yeah, it sure did.
it did. And I'm like, what happened? But it's been such a blessing to my family, to me, to just like feel confident in something that I love.
Yeah, and help like tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands right
Yeah.
now. Insane.
Yeah.
And you're sitting on the floor of your playroom, and when
Yeah.
you said that, I'm like, well, that's perfect. That perfectly fits into your brand that you
Totally.
that you don't have to like give up your life. In fact, that's not the entrepreneurial dream, like being attached to the laptop. So that's so good. And I was listening to an episode of the podcast. Um, I think it's called Uncomplicating Social Media Through Simple
Yeah.
Content. I absolutely love the emphasis on simplicity. That's a hallmark
Mhm.
of my business growth method.
Mhm.
So I just want to, before we dive into any tactics, I really think it's important that the women listening who may be confused and overwhelmed, that they need to experience a mindset shift.
Yes.
Go from the overwhelm to the calm, I got this. So what do they need to know before we get into the tactics to really
Yeah.
think about social differently?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is, especially right now, like maybe I wouldn't have said this even several years ago, right? But I mean, I always say it's not that complicated. Of course, it's work, right? You got to do the market research. And I think a lot of people get on social media before they've done the work they need to do, which is understand who they're selling to, what their needs why their needs are their needs, why their frustrations are their frustrations. So you got to do all that first. And then Instagram becomes a whole lot easier because right now we're all at capacity in our brains and our lives. We just want something so simple that it's like, I didn't realize you could put a trash bag in the trash can that way. I didn't realize if I added this to the bottom of my stairs, it would help the clutter, right? Like it's literally, those are the reels that go crazy. Like one of my students is a baker and she just did like, you swap this kind of butter for this kind of butter and now your cookies are whatever. And everyone's like, it's viral right now. It's going viral right now. And she's like, I thought this was so not good. And I was like, that's what does well right now. So I tell everyone, you're overcomplicating, because I think, especially as women, we want to fix everything. We want to help everyone. And I always joke, I'm like, stop trying to save the world with every post. And that was me for years. I was like, I got to make sure every person that sees this post knows exactly how to do Instagram. And it's like, and that's not possible. That's actually not helpful. We need just little bite-sized, little quick wins. So when it comes to simplicity, that's it. I mean, I think for years we kind of had to really kind of give a whole lot more information every post. Now it's the opposite. I'm like, give just one tiny thing or one little laugh or one little pep talk. And I used to have to show my husband, I'm like, what am I trying to say here? Because I'd be saying so much.
That's so good.
So it's like, we all have to kind of retrain our brains to think like, it's just something that goes, oh, that's so helpful. Like, oh, instead of putting your blush here, try here. It's literally that sort of stuff that goes crazy right now. And your audience will appreciate you. I hate saying dumbing it down, but really that's what it is.
Yeah. And it is good. And, I remember the days when it was like, you have to have a well-coiffed photography. It was almost like you had to get the lighting just right.
Everything.
Yeah, everything had to be perfect. And now it's like, when you show up, some of my most popular anythings are pictures of me and my family doing stuff. And then on that, now I insert business stuff on it. So it's just
1,000%. Because they like to see who you are beyond the business owner.
Let's, can we go in there for a second? Because I know you want to focus on reels, but I want this to be real and helpful. Okay. So it's helpful to me too. All right. So I'm almost 60 years old.
Okay.
And so I can tell I have a bad mindset around social media. Okay. I just want to be really real with you. Okay. Like, I'm not into the AI algorithm baloney. Okay.
No.
And so my team is like, Jude, you have to show them who you are. I'm like, okay. Well, see, like, I'm here with my kids. I just want to set this up because I'm sure this is going to be a huge like aha moment for me as well as others. Like, I'm living my life. I don't really want to have to grab my phone to say, hey, I'm frolicking in the beach. Can you capture me frolicking in the water? Like, help me and help us all kind of get a better mindset and perspective.
I love that. And I will say, I just had a content creation retreat and every woman said the same thing. And most of us are in our 40s, late 40s. So like just from a range from 40 to like later 40s. And we didn't grow up with the internet, right? We had to develop our photos at Walmart, wait a week, right? So it's very weird to have this like instant, like, so I will say, if you struggle with that, because I want people to feel present in their life, even though they have a business and have Instagram. So what I do is I always say, I don't know if people are familiar with this term, but like batch creation, right? You batch a bunch of content. I'm not a fan of that because I like to kind of create content as like today, like the reel I'm sharing today, I recorded right before this. I was like, I know what I want to say today, but that's my brain. But a lot of people, I'm like, just go batch it. Spend one afternoon with someone who gets it. Find another woman who is who also like you is like, I do not want to do this frolicking on the beach, and just get together.
But I don't want to capture it. Like, I don't,
like
I want to just enjoy the frolic.
Just enjoy it. So that's why I'm like, spend one, and actually my husband and I do it. We do once a month. We go somewhere for brunch and because he's a realtor, so he needs content too for his reels. And we just shoot what they call B-roll, which is like secondary. I mean, I know you guys probably know what B-roll is, but every time you're watching the news, when they cut from someone talking to like other things, that's B-roll. You'll hear them. We're like, oh, roll the B-roll. That's what your reels can be. They don't all have to be talking to the camera. So maybe pick one person who also gets it and you guys can just shoot a bunch of videos. So at that point you're on and you have to be on. So that way, when you're on the weekends and you're eating food and with your friend and you don't want to think about it, you don't have to think about it. Or if you think about it, I tell everyone, if you're going to take a photo, with your family, take a 5-second video with it. And then there's your B-roll, right? But that's what I would do, because you just got to remember it is work. And I think, you know, a lot of times, like, I don't think of social media as work, but that's why I do what I do. But for you guys, it's work. So you just got to remember, it's like, okay, you got to schedule it in, just like you schedule your workout or you schedule your meal prep. It's like every Monday from 10 a.m. to 11, I'm going to go to a coffee shop and shoot B-roll with my friend. And maybe it's a friend you meet for coffee and pray with and do Bible study with. I mean, all the B-roll has to show is like you and your element. So for me, it's usually me with in my typing on my computer, or me with my making a cup of coffee, me with my children. If you want to do reels. But I also tell women, especially who are like, I just don't like being on video, you know, images still work. I know people who do not do any reels. They do any reels and they grow. Good content's good content. So if it speaks to people, they're going to love it. And like you said, with the algorithm and all this stuff, if you stress about the algorithm, you're not going to go anywhere. Like, no one has ever grown by like obsessing over the algorithm.
Yeah.
It's not changing as much. It's not changing as much as people think it is, right? It's like but our behaviors are changing. What we like is changing, right? We're all in different phases. Like, I'm interested in one thing now, maybe I won't be interested later, but also our attention spans are shorter. We're following more people. We're all overwhelmed. So again, just try to think, like, I always think, like, if I can help one person a day or make them smile today, I've done my job.
There you go.
That takes the pressure off. I'm
Yeah.
like, okay, that didn't do well. Well, okay, I'll figure out why. But if it brought you joy and it brought someone joy, then that's okay.
I love it. I love it. Okay. So can we give like an example just to make it really
Yeah.
practical? Like, so let's see. Let's say you're a mindset coach.
Okay.
And you service Christian women. I'm just trying to think of something.
Yeah.
And you service Christian women going from 6 to 7 figures.
Okay.
And so like how much do you talk about you? I don't know. I don't even know how to ask the question, but even with that, can you kind of say, okay, great, these are the questions I would ask of a client. And I don't want to give you away all your juice, but just kind of, when I think about, okay, like, I love the beach and I love all things French, and I'm tall and I'm a twin, I just want to get a feel. Anything you care to share?
I do think everyone should have, and I haven't done one in a long time, but everyone should have a reel. It's like, hi, put your name, where you live, love Jesus. This is what I do. I also love this show. I love this book. right. I'm a twin, you know, and it's funny. I've seen it's kind of like a tactic right now, but people are doing that because they know that the algorithm puts you in front of people you're familiar or you have similarities with.
Oh, okay.
Location is a big similarity. People in my area, North Carolina, find me all the time. They're like, oh my gosh, that's so crazy. You're in Cary. I'm like, no, the reason you're seeing this is because I'm in Cary. Like, Instagram knows connection. So yeah, I would definitely have one of those, and that's fun to do. You know, I remember back in the day, we called them Friday intro posts, right? But now it's like, they're not going to see it on a Friday because Reels perform for months. But I think that's I think, you know, it's fine to do that. And I think it's a good idea to do that, because sometimes we'll be like, I'm a twin too. Right. And then they connect with you on that level. But as for that, for going, you know, your mindset, the best thing you guys can do, especially for people in mindset, is, the way I like to say it is like problem aware content. A lot of us don't know we have this mindset. We think it's one thing where it's another. One that I keep seeing everywhere is like, it's not that you're trying to recover from the trauma or whatever it is. Like, I've seen it going around a lot. It's like, you're trying to learn how to respond to joy correctly because of the trauma, right? So it's like a flip in their brain. We're like, oh, it's not that I'm miserable. It's like, I just don't know how to respond to joy because they weren't, right? So like, what's something that you can say, the reason they're struggling to be okay with making 7 figures? Maybe that's a roadblock, that maybe they don't think they're deserving of 7 figures. Maybe they think, you know, whatever it is. So then you can flip it. Like, the reason you're nervous to go to 7 figures is because of this. It's because of this. And that sort of stuff makes them go, whoa. Did not realize that. So mindset people, I always tell my mindset people, like, we all think we're reacting one way because of one thing, but really it's, you guys know why we're actually having that block and it's usually not the thing we think it is. So stuff like that is really powerful. And again, it could be you talking on Zoom to it, pretending like right now you could be recording and just, you know, video of you nodding your head and talking. And it's just that. Cause I've worked with a lot of people in mindset and, you know, helping people recover from things, and like those do really well because we feel validated. So if you're in the mindset field, but also everyone on social media wants to feel validated.
That's for sure. Right.
You
And it's
know, so if you can say that, they'll be like, wow, I feel seen. Like that's what they want to see.
right. And I love what you said. Actually, what you've said on the gurus say this, but it's really that. I mean, I'm
Mm,
always talking to my clients about that. Like for
yeah.
me, my clients looking to get to their first 6 figures, they're thinking I need more leads. I'm saying you don't have an offer.
Mm,
You don't have an offer. You don't have clarity around your best client. So you don't even
yeah.
know who you're talking to. And you don't
Yep.
have an offer that they really need or that you have dialed in enough that you know how to talk about to
Yeah.
them where they are.
So you can even
So
say like, I wish more Christian entrepreneurs or Christian women knew that it's not that they need more leads, they need blah, blah, blah. Like that sort of stuff. Anything that just opens their eyes. And that's, I mean, you don't have to completely blow their minds. It's just one little shift and they're going to be like, oh, I never thought about it that way. Thank you for saying that. Um, Other things for mindset are just like, again, like, maybe scripture around mindset that they should look at, or, and just drop one verse. You don't have to be like, read the Bible, right? Because that's gonna like, but you know what I mean? I always tell people, I'm like,
overwhelming.
baby steps. Yeah. And, um, let's see what else for like anyone in just coaching in general. It's like, you know, they've heard so much stuff that isn't true. I mean, the things that I've heard from people, they're like, well, I was told this. I'm like, who told you that? And who hurt that person that made them tell you that? Like, I'm like, this is crazy.
Yeah.
So I think the more we can just help open people's eyes, and, you know, it comes down to thought leadership too, which is so powerful. But yeah, I think, and just, you know, people love to learn new habits. So if one reel I had a lot of my students do recently that went viral for many people was like saying 6 months ago, I started blah, blah, blah. And now blah, blah, blah. Right. Because the same thing, if I'm sitting at coffee with a friend, I'm like, oh my gosh, I started working out at whatever. And now we like, we want to hear those things even on social media. And so the one girl that went viral, she said something like 6 months ago, I started sitting outside for 10 minutes every morning, whether it was raining, snowing, with my coffee and my dog. And it helped me X. I forget what the benefit was, but like more energy, whatever. It went, I think 15 million views. It's like, it's crazy. We just want to know one silly thing that we can do for free or something we can buy real quickly to solve a pain point. That's it.
That's really great. Okay.
Yeah.
As we're wrapping up, how about some fast answer questions?
Yay.
Your first impression. Okay. Face versus faceless reels.
Face all day.
Okay. Why is that? Yeah.
Because we're hardwired to connect to faces, and faceless they grow, but I don't know if they sell. And a lot of the faceless people out there, unfortunately, are sharing, I know this for a fact, are sharing screenshots from other people that aren't theirs.
That's not good.
There's been a lot exposed, which is not everyone, but I've heard that was what was being pushed for a lot of people to do. But faceless reels have been around forever. I think if you're selling a product, faceless you're okay. But if someone's going to give you $10,000 to be coached, they want to see your face. It doesn't mean you have to talk to the camera, but at least photos of you, or at least have like a pinned thing about who you are, where you're from, why you are the person for them. At least, like, it's okay if you create reels without your face, but like, I want to be able to, when I go to your profile, at least let there be a face there that I can connect to.
Okay. On a related point, when it comes to reels, is the cover of the reel as important as opposed to like seeing their face? And I don't know, what are your thoughts on that?
No, I think if you want to, so I'm just like this. I don't like picture after a while. So every once in a while I'll make a cover photo where it's just the title. The way I describe the reels covers is what would your pin be on Pinterest. It needs to, for people to click on a pin, it needs to say the topic, right? So that's what I would do for all your reels covers. If you don't want to put a picture, that's totally fine. As long as I can go to your profile and be like, make it easy to binge. It's almost like going on Netflix and not seeing titles, just a bunch of, photos. I'm like, what is this? So
good. That's a great tip. And I don't think I'm doing that. So thank you for that.
Oh, yeah.
Right. Optimal posting frequency.
Ooh, this is a very hot topic. And it's just whatever works for you. I know people that post 3 times a day because they just can't stop themselves. I'm like, good, do it. If you're getting the reach and the engagement you want, go for it, right? By all means. I can't. I'm literally sitting on the playroom. My daughter's sick, right? Like there's no way I could do more than yesterday. I did 2 posts and that rarely happens, but it's because I was fired up about something. So if I feel called to do it and my DMs are blowing up about something, I'm like, let me just put a post out. But I typically have a hard stance on either Saturdays or Sundays. I take off. Like I go I disappear from Instagram completely. No stories, no posts, at least one day, usually during the weekend. So I used to post 3 to 4 times a week for years. So I grew 3 to 4 times. And now that I have more free time because all my offers, I don't have a lot of one-on-one clients anymore, I'm able to post more. So the only reason I'm posting more is because I'm able to, and I have 7 years of content to repurpose. So like it's easy for me. So the only reason I would ever tell anyone to post more than 3 or 4, if you can do it 4 times a week, that's perfect. That's basically every other day.
I
So
love
like,
that.
yeah,
I heard someone say, Judy, don't post. Like some days you do get inspired.
yes,
Don't post 2 times a day because then it's going to kill you on the algorithm. And then my response is, I really don't care about the algorithm.
I
This
really
is
don't care.
out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
honestly, I would say before Reels, it almost did because both your posts would be fighting each other.
Mhm.
But now with Reels, Reels is a totally different algorithm. So yesterday I did a static post and a Reel, and it's kind of fun to see how because a post, like a static image, has a totally different push out than a Reel does. So, but again, sometimes I'm like, I don't care. I've posted back to back before because I'm like, I don't care. Like I want to get it out.
Yes.
I will
Okay.
say, like, and again, there's no best time to post, but if you are hyper local, that's something to think about. Like if you're a coffee shop in Tampa, well, don't post your coffee at 9 o'clock at night. Like, but for people that work with people all over the world or all over the country, like it's all good. Just think about your people's day-to-day schedule and post. That's what I do. Like I know most of my people are moms. That 2, 3 o'clock window is perfect because they're waiting for their kids to get home. So I usually post around that. But that's just, I have people that follow me in Australia, right? So it's like there's no magic time and there's no magic frequency. Just do what works for you.
I love that permission. I love it. All right.
Yay.
So is IG your preferred platform? I think so.
Yes, I am there a lot, but I love LinkedIn. I'm a nerd like that. And I love TikTok but I'm not on there a lot. Like I'll post like 7 times like in 3 days and then I won't post for like a week. I like to test things out there. I like to study over there. So it's not so much community for me. It's more research. But yeah, LinkedIn and Instagram are where you can find me most frequently, and Threads, but
Awesome.
Threads is funky.
Last question, okay, because I know we're cutting loose on time. To someone who's just getting started or they feel like their account is dead,
Hmm.
what are maybe 2 or 3 next best steps to get some traction and growth?
Market research. The 2 things I would do is get to know your people. The best thing you can do, if you're brand new and don't have clients, interview people that you want to be your clients. If you have clients, clients and customers, literally ask them, why'd you hire me? Why'd you follow me? And just let them talk and like do it over Zoom because it's a lot, they'll spill out a lot more, and give them like a $10 gift card, whatever. And then if you don't have clients, interview people you'd want to know. Same thing. I've had so many people that have set up like interview, Zooms just to be like, hey, if you were to hire a bookkeeper, like, and I, have one, but it's like someone that's like, if you were to hire me, or how'd you feel before bookkeeper versus after? And they got so much info out of me for their content. That's what you need to do. Cause I tell everyone, I'm like, you don't know why people are actually buying from you until you ask them. That's going to help you with your content. And then from there, make sure your bio reflects that, and that your pin posts reflect that, and that your content just reflects all that. And so the biggest thing to do after you get that research is and again, my brain works different, but I just scroll the Reels tab and see what's working. And there's formulas, guys. There's literally formulas that are working right now. And you can kind of see, like, study the reel that you shared with all your friends. What was it? Was it timing? Was it the audio? Was it the message? What was the hook? Just study it. And then it's almost like viral hacking, they call it. You're not taking their idea, you're just taking the formula.
Wow.
Yeah.
See, I guess because I'm on social so little, I can't do that. What I share out are young kids singing about Jesus. So I don't know,
Right.
you know what I mean? So for me,
But again, yours could be like, this account is for women who love blah, 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 right? Like love every time they see a reel about Jesus and church, but also want to use their gifts to help others and
yeah.
have enough money to tithe and buy the house that, you know what I mean? Like just say all those things and then.
Yeah, it's just so funny. I mean, I am looking for the Christian woman who's unashamedly like going for it big time.
Oh, see, I love that. So there you go. You go,
So I don't want the mamby-pamby Christians. And so ladies, as you're listening, yes, I'm up leveling my brand because these are the best clients, those that aren't playing games. Like
I
I'm
love
not
that.
needle point.
POV, you love Jesus, but you
Yes.
also, right. Cause I think a lot of Christians get shamed for like it's not that we love money, but you know what I mean? Like there's a
No,
lot of
yeah,
shame
yeah,
around money.
absolutely.
So that would be a really powerful reel. Few women who aren't ashamed to
Go
make
big, go all in.
make a ton of money and use their gifts. Oh my gosh, I think that'd be so good for you.
Yeah. Okay.
A
Awesome.
lot of Christian women would feel very seen.
Yeah, yeah, I am sure. Yeah, I am. That's the thing. I feel like I'm saying these things, but I have never done a reel specifically for that.
Yeah.
All right. So you have an amazing freebie that once you download this, ladies, you will never again ask, what am I going to post? So tell us about that.
Yeah. So I have it's a 50 fresh content ideas, and there's a ton of content ideas, but not only that, but at the bottom is some call to actions, hooks, so that you can just have it printed out by your desk and grab it when you're like, what the heck am I doing today? Yeah, it's a cheat sheet, if you will.
Yeah, it's amazing. I looked at
Yeah.
it and it's fantastic. And that's not an understatement. You will never again say, I don't know. Yes, you
I
do. You're
know.
an expert. You absolutely know. So Shannon, thank you so much for being here. I knew this
Thank
would be
you.
powerful. Oh, where can they connect with you? Can you just, it's going to be in the show notes, but if you would again.
Yeah. I mean, Instagram, Shannon McKinstry. You can DM me, but you can also my website, shannonmckinstry.com. There's freebies, there's really inexpensive guides. I do audits too. So I'm here for you.
Yeah, awesome. Shannon, you are awesome. Thank you so much for
You're
being
awesome,
here.
Judy. Thank
God
you.
bless. We'll see y'all next time. Take care.
Yay.